The meeting, the diplomatic vessel Unity floated in the darkness of neutral space, waiting. Captain John stood on the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back. He watched the stars through the main view screen. Today would mark humanity's first official contact with an alien civilization. "Captain, we're detecting an approaching vessel," Lieutenant Mike reported from his station. "It matches the profile they sent us." "Good. Open all communication channels. Let them know we're ready to receive them." The alien ship emerged from hyperspace, like a silver bird breaking through black water. It was beautiful. The crystal wing, as the aliens called it, had smooth curves and a surface that seemed to shimmer with its own light. No visible weapons. No aggressive angles. Everything about it whispered peace. "They're sending a message, sir," the communications officer said. The view screen flickered. An alien face appeared. The being had pale blue skin and large, dark eyes. Its features were almost human-like, but stretched and refined. This was Commander Crix of the Vexen Empire. "Greetings, Captain John of Earth," Crix said through the translator. His voice came through smooth and pleasant. "We are honored to make this historic meeting with your species." "The honor is ours, Commander Crix," John replied. He kept his tone warm but professional. "We hope this is the beginning of a long friendship between our peoples." Both ships moved slowly toward each other. The predetermined meeting point lay between them. Neither vessel showed any sign of aggression. Everything followed the protocols both species had agreed upon through long-range communications over the past 6 months. "Captain, their ship is sending over technical data as promised," reported Dr. Adams, the chief science officer. "Basic information about their propulsion systems, some cultural data, mathematical concepts. It all checks out with what they sent before." John nodded. "Send them our prepared package in return. Keep it to level 1 information only." The exchange continued smoothly. Both crews seemed to relax as hours passed without incident. The Vexens shared images of their homeworld, a planet of crystal cities and purple oceans. Humans shared pictures of Earth's blue skies and green forests. "Their biology is fascinating," Dr. Adams said, studying her console. "They breathe a nitrogen-oxygen mix similar to ours. We could probably visit each other's worlds with minimal life support." Commander Crix appeared on screen again. "Captain, we would like to propose a gift exchange ceremony. It is our tradition when meeting new friends. Nothing valuable, just symbolic items from our respective worlds." John smiled. "We would be honored, Commander. When would you like to arrange this? In 4 hours? This would give both our crews time to prepare. We could meet in the space between our vessels. 2 representatives from each ship." "Agreed. We look forward to it." The screen went dark. John turned to his bridge crew. "Everything seems to be going perfectly. Mike, what's your security assessment?" Lieutenant Mike frowned at his instruments. "I'm picking up some odd energy readings from their ship, Captain. Nothing hostile, just ... unusual. Could be their engine design. Their technology is different from ours. Keep monitoring it. Dr. Adams, prepare a selection of gifts. Books, music, some art pieces. Nothing that reveals military or advanced technical information." "Yes, Captain." As the hours passed, both ships drifted closer. The distance between them shrank from thousands of kilometers to just 500. Close enough for easy shuttle travel, but still far enough to react if something went wrong. "Sir," Mike said quietly, stepping close to the captain. "Those energy readings are getting stronger, and there's a pattern to them. Almost like ... double quotes. Like what, Lieutenant?" "I'm not sure. Maybe I'm being paranoid. First contact and all." John studied his security officer. Mike had good instincts, but everything else showed peaceful intentions. The Vexens had been nothing but cooperative. "Keep watching," John said. "But don't do anything to seem hostile. We're making history here." The Unity's shuttle bay prepared for the ceremony. A small table was set up with Earth's gifts, a wooden sculpture, a digital archive of human music, a collection of photographs showing Earth's landscapes. Simple things, but meaningful. "Captain, Commander Crix signals they're ready," came the announcement. "Very well. Let's make history." Both ships launched small shuttles that met in the space between them. The ceremony was about to begin. Everything seemed perfect, too perfect. Asterisk the deception. The two shuttles met in the void between the ships. Captain John and Lieutenant Mike stood in their environmental suits, watching through their shuttle's viewports as the Vexon craft approached. The alien shuttle was as elegant as their main ship, smooth and gleaming. "Remember, Mike, we're ambassadors today," John said through the helmet cone. "Peaceful gestures only." "Understood, Captain. But I'm keeping my scanner active." The shuttles connected with a soft thud. The airlock hissed as pressure equalized. The door opened, revealing Commander Crix and another Vexen. Both wore form-fitting suits that seemed to be made of liquid metal. "Captain John," Crix said, bowing slightly. "Thank you for agreeing to this ceremony." They moved to the small chamber between the shuttles, where the exchange would take place. The table with Earth's gifts sat in the center. Crix's companion placed a similar collection of items on their side, a crystal that glowed with inner light, a device that projected holographic art, and what looked like a musical instrument. "Your world creates beautiful things," John said, examining the crystal. "As does yours," Crix replied. But his large eyes kept darting to his companion, who was checking a small device on his wrist. Mike's scanner beeped softly. He frowned at the readings. "Captain," he whispered through private comm, "I'm detecting multiple energy signatures from their main ship. They're moving, like hidden panels shifting." John kept his face neutral, continuing to examine the alien gifts. "Tell me about this instrument," he said to Crix, while tapping a response to Mike on his wrist pad. "Keep monitoring. Stay calm." Back on the Unity, Dr. Adams was running her own scans. "That's strange," she muttered. "The crystal wing's mass readings just changed. It's like the ship is heavier than before." The tactical officer looked over her shoulder. "Could be they're extending landing gear or something." "In deep space?" "No, this is something else." She pulled up the energy patterns Mike had detected earlier. "Oh no, these patterns. They match known weapon charging signatures." On the crystal wing, deep within its command center, Crix's second-in-command watched multiple screens. The beautiful exterior of their ship was a lie, a carefully crafted disguise. Beneath the smooth hull lay rows of plasma cannons, missile tubes, and graviton projectors, all slowly moving into position. A message appeared on the screen, coded in Vexen military encryption. "High command orders. Capture human vessel intact. Their hyperdrive technology is priority. Begin operation at your discretion." The second-in-command sent a pulse to Crix's communicator. A simple vibration that meant, "Orders confirmed, dock back at the ceremony." Crix's companion had stopped pretending to be interested in the gifts. He was openly operating his wrist device now, sending signals back to their ship. "Is everything all right?" John asked, though he already knew the answer. "Captain," Mike said urgently through comm, "we need to leave, now." But Crix stepped forward, blocking their path to the shuttle. "I'm afraid there has been a change in plans, Captain John." "What kind of change?" John kept his voice steady. "Your species has something we need. Your hyperdrive technology is far more advanced than we expected. My government believes it would be better in our hands." Mike's hand moved toward his hip, where a small emergency beacon was attached. Crix's companion raised a weapon, a sleek energy pistol that had been hidden in his suit. Please don't make this difficult, Crix said. His earlier warmth was gone. We have done this 12 times before. 12 species thought they were meeting new friends. Now they serve the Vexen Empire. It is easier if you cooperate. John looked at the commander with disappointment. All of this was a lie? The cultural exchange? The talk of friendship? An effective strategy, Crix said. Lesser species always want to believe in peace. It makes them weak. On the Unity's bridge, alarms began sounding. Captain, the crystal wing is powering weapons. The tactical officer shouted. Should we raise shields? Dr. Adams grabbed the comb. Captain John, get out of there. But back in the meeting chamber, John did something unexpected. He smiled. Commander Crix, he said calmly. You said you've done this 12 times before? Yes, and you will be the 13th. I don't think so. John tapped his wrist pad 3 times. A simple signal. Suddenly, every screen on the crystal wing flashed red. Warning signals screamed through their bridge. Their sensors, previously showing empty space around them, now revealed the truth. They were surrounded. The reveal the crystal wing's disguise shattered like breaking glass. The beautiful silver hull split apart in dozens of places. Massive cannon arrays pushed through hidden panels. Missile pods emerged from what had looked like decorative fins. The elegant diplomatic vessel transformed into what it truly was, a predator built for war. The ship's real name blazed across its hull in Vixen script, Death Claw. Commander Crix stood taller, no longer pretending to be peaceful. You see now, Captain John, this is what we truly are. Surrender your vessel, and your crew will live as servants. Resist, and we will take what we want from your broken ships. But John didn't flinch. He actually laughed. Commander, did you really think we were that naive? Crix's large eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Computer, John said clearly. Authorization John Alpha 7. Drop the mask. The Unity began to change. Not dramatically like the Vexen ship, but with quiet efficiency. Hull plates slid aside, revealing torpedo tubes. Sensor arrays reconfigured into targeting systems. The diplomatic vessel's true nature revealed itself. She was a Wolf-class destroyer, one of Earth's newest warships. No, Crix breathed. You? You knew? We knew, John confirmed. 3 months ago, we rescued a refugee ship. The survivors told us everything. How the Vexen Empire pretends to come in peace. How you study your victims during fake negotiations. How you strike when they're most vulnerable. Mike pulled out his scanner, showing it to Crix. This isn't just a scanner. It's been transmitting everything to our fleet. Every energy reading, every hidden weapon you revealed, every word you said. Your fleet? Crix's companion asked. There are no other ships here. Are you sure about that? John asked. At that moment, space around the Deathclaw erupted with light. One by one, human warships dropped their cloaking fields. 20 vessels materialized from nothing. Destroyers, cruisers, and at the center, a massive battleship. The Earth's Hammer, flagship of the human defense fleet. Admiral Ross appeared. On every screen in the chamber, her gray hair pulled back in a military bun, her eyes hard as steel. Commander Crix of the Vexen Empire. This is Admiral Ross of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are surrounded and outgunned. Power down your weapons. On the Deathclaw's bridge, panic spread through the crew. How did they hide so many ships? The tactical officer shouted. Our sensors detected nothing. It's impossible, the science officer said. No species we've encountered has cloaking technology this advanced. But humanity had something the Vexens didn't expect, friends. The refugees from 12 conquered. Species had shared their technology, their knowledge, their hatred of the Vexen Empire. Humans had combined it all, creating something new. You made one mistake, Commander, John said. You assumed we were alone in the universe. But every species you conquered, every world you enslaved, they found their way to us. They warned us. They helped us prepare. Crix raised his weapon, pointing it at John. Then you die here, human. Mike moved faster than seemed possible. His hand shot out, grabbing the weapon and crushing it with powered gauntlets hidden in his suit. I don't think so. The Vexen companion fired his pistol, but the energy beam bounced off John's suit. What had looked like a standard environmental suit was actually military-grade combat armor. 50 years, John said, stepping forward. For 50 years, humanity has been preparing for this moment. We hoped for peaceful contact. We dreamed of finding friends among the stars. But we prepared for predators like you. On the Deathclaw, Commander Crix's second-in-command was frantically sending messages. High Command, we need immediate reinforcement. The humans are not what they seem. Repeat, the humans are dangerous. The response came quickly. Reinforcements already dispatched. 30 warships arriving in 3 minutes. Hold position. Admiral Ross watched her tactical display. Captain, you might want to return to Unity. Things are about to get interesting. Commander Crix, John said, you have 2 minutes to surrender. After that, we won't be responsible for what happens. 30 Vixen warships are coming. Crix snarled. You will be overwhelmed. 30? John shook his head. Commander, you really should have brought more. The human ships moved into perfect formation. The Earth's hammer powered its main gun, a weapon that seemed to bend space around it. The other ships activated systems the Vexens had never seen before. Energy fields that rippled like water. Missiles that phased in and out of reality. Humans spent 50 years preparing. Admiral Ross announced on all frequencies. Not just to defend ourselves, but to end the Vexen Empire's reign of terror. Your reinforcements will find more than they bargained for. In the distance, hyperspace windows began opening. The Vexen fleet was arriving. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The confrontation 30 Vexen warships burst from hyperspace in perfect formation. Each one was a match for the Deathclaw, massive, heavily armed, designed to spread fear across star systems. Their arrival should have changed everything. Commander Crix straightened, confidence returning to his face. Now you will see true power, human. But Admiral Ross didn't even blink. All ships, execute pattern Omega. The human fleet moved like dancers following ancient choreography. As the Vexen reinforcements oriented themselves, space around them shimmered. 100 more human vessels dropped their cloaks, frigates, destroyers, carriers, and 3 more battleships. The Vexen fleet found itself at the center of a sphere of human weapons. Impossible, Crix's companion gasped. No species has a fleet this large. We do, John said simply. Every factory on Earth has been building ships for decades. Every colony world contributed. Every allied species helped. While you were conquering, we were preparing. The Vexen fleet commander appeared on screen, an older Vexen with scars across his face. This is Fleet Master Vorix. Unknown vessels, you dare threaten the empires. Ships, we have crushed civilizations far greater than yours. Admiral Ross leaned forward in her command chair. Fleet Master Vorix, I am sending you scan data now. Look at it carefully. On Vorix's bridge, the tactical displays updated. The human ships weren't just numerous. They were advanced. Energy readings that didn't match any known technology. Weapons that seemed to violate physics. Shields that bent sensor scans into meaningless static. Where did you get this technology? Vorix demanded. From your victims, Ross replied. The Kellen taught us about quantum shielding. The Morvik shared their phase weapons. The Texi showed us how to hide ships in folded space. 12 species you enslaved. all eager to help us stop you. Commander Crix activated his personal communicator, trying to send orders to the Deathclaw. Fire warning shots. Show them our power. The Deathclaw's main cannons swiveled toward the Unity and fired. Brilliant beams of energy lanced through space. They struck the human destroyer's shields and simply disappeared. The shields didn't even flicker. Return fire? Unity's weapons officer asked. Negative, John said, now back on his bridge. We're not them. We don't shoot first to kill. Instead, the Earth's hammer fired a single shot, not at the Vexen ships, but past them. The projectile traveled for 2 seconds, then detonated. Space itself seemed to tear. A gravitational wave spread out, shaking every Vexen ship, while leaving the human vessels untouched. That was 1% power, Admiral Ross announced. The next shot won't miss. Fleet Master Vorix was studying his displays with growing alarm. How are your shields immune to our weapons? Because we knew exactly what weapons you used, Ross explained. Your former slaves told us everything. Every frequency, every weakness, every tactic. We built our defenses specifically to stop you. The Vexen ships tried to maneuver, to break the encirclement, but they found themselves trapped. The human ships had deployed a gravity web, invisible lines of force that held the Vexen fleet in place like insects in honey. You could destroy us, Vorix said slowly. Why haven't you? Because we're not conquerors, John answered from the Unity. We're defenders. There's a difference. On Earth, in a bunker 5 miles underground, the President watched the confrontation through quantum communication. She turned to her advisors. Send the message. Across the solar system, humanity's true defense network activated. Weapons platforms hidden in asteroids powered up. Moon bases revealed massive cannon arrays. Mars colonies' orbital stations dropped stealth mode. Thousands of defensive systems came online simultaneously. The data was transmitted to the Vexen fleet. Every screen on every ship showed the same thing. A defense network that could destroy 1,000 warships. You thought you were hunting sheep, Admiral Ross said. But humans have always been wolves. We just choose to live in peace. Commander Crix slumped in defeat. What do you want? We want the killing to stop, John said. We want the enslaved species freed. We want the Vexen Empire to face justice. And if we refuse? Fleet Master Vorix asked. Every human weapon locked onto Vexen ships simultaneously. Targeting lasers painted hulls. Missile pods opened. Energy weapons hummed with power. Then we end you, Ross said simply. Not because we want to, but because we won't let you hurt anyone else. The bridge of the Deathclaw fell silent. Crix looked at his displays. 31 warships against over 100 human vessels, plus a system-wide defense network. It wasn't a battle. It would be extinction. I need to contact the High Command, Vorix said. Do it, Ross nodded. Tell them humanity offers a choice. Peace or annihilation. They have 10 minutes to decide. The message was sent. Every being in both fleets held their breath, waiting for the response that would decide the fate of empires. The resolution, the 10 minutes felt like 10 hours. Then, the main view screen on every ship flickered to life. The image that appeared showed a V-sound unlike any they'd seen before. Ancient, with skin like carved stone, and eyes that had witnessed centuries. This was the High Chancellor of the Vexen Empire. I am High Chancellor Arcos, the figure spoke slowly. In 800 years of conquest, no species has ever held our fleet helpless. Who are you humans to dare this? Admiral Ross stood. We are the species that said, no more. We are the voice of 12 conquered worlds. We are the end of your empire's tyranny. You speak of justice, Arcos said. What justice can there be between predator and prey? That's where you're wrong, John interrupted from the Unity. We're not prey. We never were. We're something you've never encountered, predators who choose not to hunt. The High Chancellor's eyes narrowed. Explain. Admiral Ross gestured, and historical footage began playing on the communication channel. Earth's history is soaked in blood. We've fought wars that killed millions. We've built weapons that could crack continents. We nearly destroyed ourselves a dozen times. The footage showed nuclear explosions, world wars, devastation beyond anything the Vexans had inflicted on others. But we learned, Ross continued. We chose to be better. When we reached the stars, we promised ourselves we'd leave our darkness behind. We would defend, not conquer. Protect, not destroy. Yet you prepared for war, Arcos observed. Because we know what we're capable of, John said. We know the monster that lives inside us. So we prepare for war precisely so we don't have to fight it. Commander Crix, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. High Chancellor, they could have destroyed us the moment we revealed ourselves. They knew our deception from the beginning. Yet they waited. They gave us chances to surrender. Weakness, Arcos spat. No. Crix shook his head slowly. Strength. The strength to hold back when you have the power to destroy. Admiral Ross activated another display. High Chancellor, we present our terms. First, immediate cessation of all conquest. Second, freedom for all enslaved species. Third, return of all occupied worlds. Fourth, the Vexan Empire submits to galactic oversight for 100 years. And if we refuse? Ross's expression didn't change. Then we demonstrate why humanity's warriors pray for peace. Not because we fear war, but because we're terrifyingly good at it. To emphasize the point, one of Earth's orbital platforms fired a demonstration shot into empty space. The beam traveled for light seconds before hitting a designated asteroid. The asteroid, the size of a small moon, simply ceased to exist. One platform, Ross said quietly. We have 5,000. The High Chancellor was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked something unexpected. What happens to the Vexan people? Do you enslave us as we enslaved others? No, John answered immediately. You return to your original 3 systems. You rebuild. You learn. Maybe in 100 years, you can join the galactic community as equals, not conquerors. You would trust us? We'll verify, Ross smiled grimly. But yes, we'll give you the chance to change. Every species deserves that chance. On the bridge of the Deathclaw, something unprecedented happened. Commander Crix removed his rank insignia and laid them on the deck. High Chancellor, I've spent my life taking from others. These humans could take everything from us, yet they offer redemption. I vote to accept their terms. One by one, other Vexan commanders did the same. Fleet Master Vorix was last, but even he finally nodded. The Empire accepts your terms. The next hours were a blur of activity. Vexan ships powered down weapons. Coordinates were shared for occupied worlds. Messages went out to enslaved species. They were free. 3 days later, Captain John stood in Unity's observation lounge with Commander Crix. The Vexan was no longer a commander. He'd requested to serve as liaison, to help undo the damage his people had done. Asterisk, I don't understand, Crix said. Watching human and Vexan crews working together to establish refugee stations. You had every right to destroy us. Rights and choices aren't the same thing, John replied. We had the right, yes, but we chose mercy. Your species is strange. John laughed. You have no idea. But here's what you need to understand. Humans have been monsters. We've been conquerors. We've been everything you are. That's how we knew your tricks. That's why we prepared so thoroughly. Then what changed you? We looked at what we'd done and decided to be better. Not perfect, just better. Every day, a little better. John turned to face Crix. Your people can do the same. Within a month, the first freed slaves were returning home. Within 6 months, the Vexan Empire had returned to its original borders. Within a year, former enemies were working together on joint stations. The galaxy had learned something important about humanity. They came in peace, hoped for friendship, prepared for war, but chose mercy when they held all the cards dot at the 1-year anniversary of first contact. Admiral Ross gave a speech broadcast across known space. Asterisk, we are humanity. We extend our hand in friendship to all who would take it. But know this, we guard the peace with the ferocity our ancestors once used for war. We are the Watchers. We are the Protectors. We are the species that says, no more conquest. No more slavery. No more empires built on suffering. She paused, looking directly at the camera. We are humanity. We choose peace. But we're absolutely prepared for war. The choice of which you face is always yours. The message spread to every corner of the galaxy. Species that had hidden for generations emerged, knowing they finally had protectors. The age of conquest was over. The age of protection had begun. And somewhere on a joint station, Captain John and former Commander Crix worked side by side, planning humanitarian missions to rebuild worlds the Vexan Empire had damaged. Two former enemies, now united in purpose, humanity's greatest victory wasn't in winning the yell. Confrontation, it was in turning enemies into allies through the simple act of mercy from a position of absolute strength. Galaxy would never be the same. The end. Asterisk.